Yo, what's up?
I just got a call on a lead. Somebody pointed something out on eBay to me, and I was checking it out. Are you familiar with the Paul Newman JPS?
No, I'm a business operations guy, bro.
Oh, I thought you liked watches. My bad.
I mean, what are we talking? How much?
Well, I mean, these things always hit auctions. Like they're always $1 million plus as of recent.
$1 million plus.
Yeah, it's $1 million plus watch if it's correct. Now, obviously, I don't know what the situation with this guy is, but if we can buy it, I think we would be in a very healthy position with it. And if it's in, obviously, it's got to be checked out.
I mean, how much profit do you think there could be in it?
Just depends on it. It just depends on talking with this watchmaker and seeing what he wants to end up doing with it. Because
I mean, are you talking are we making like 10,000, 20,000, 100?
No. It would be a six-figure payday. Sure.
6 figures.
Easily 6 figures. Can you get Deja to book me a flight to Miami like right now? Because I told this guy I'll get on the next flight out.
I can take a look, but the problem is a lot of the pilots are on strike right now. So like, that's why a lot of flights are getting canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Let me take a look. Obviously, where is it at? Miami?
Yeah, it's in Miami.
Okay. If I can't fly you into Miami, would you be open to Fort Worth? Or not Fort Worth, flying out of Fort Worth into Fort Lauderdale?
I don't mind that.
And you're saying that there could be 6 figures on the line here.
If we buy this watch and there's no issues with it, dude, we're going to have a really, really nice payday.
Do you think it's fake though?
I don't know, dude. I mean, I'll tell you this. The bezel right off the bat looks fake to me. The dial from a distance, because I mean, I'm only working off very limited pictures. It looks pretty close, and I just need to see it in person.
Get to DFW airport in 3 hours?
I literally have my bag packed in this flight. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
We are headed to Miami. We're going to be looking at a very special watch today. It's a gold Paul Newman Daytona. Let's see what happens. This is a watchmaker bench special, so it's coming up from a watchmaker out there. So very interested in seeing what happens. But if this deal happens, it's going to be really fun to buy and sell this piece. It's like one of my dream watches. It's a very famous watch. A lot of very notable people have bought and sold these watches. So just so you guys are aware, this deal all happened with the span of 2 hours. So 2 hours ago, I heard about this, and we are booked. We're ready to fly. Matt flew down here like a madman as well. So let's go pick up the camera. Let's go to Miami and see what this watch is all about. Guys, we are running by the seat of our pants. Yeah, we're trying to get to the airport as fast as we can. We're running a little late, but thank God for TSA pre-check. We got here just in time. Oh, this is my favorite entrance, right? There's like literally nobody ever at this security checkpoint. We're here. We're gonna go look at the watch tomorrow, the 6241 Paul Newman, and then tonight we're gonna take it easy. I'm meeting up with a couple of friends out here in Miami, and one of them is kind of helping me out with this Paul Newman deal. We're gonna check it out, see if everything's legit. Obviously, that's the biggest thing when we're looking at watches. I mean, the pictures that I saw looked good, but of course, pictures can be deceiving. There's always details that are always missed by the camera. So this is just something that required me to fly out as quickly as I could to see it. So let's see what happens. This is Jimmy. Yo.
What up?
What's going on?
I think it'd be cool that if you guys can do the watch thing, and then Matt, you're not flying back out to Dallas until tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
So if you guys are at the Seabolt building and you guys hit a couple watch dealers.
All right, dude. Later,
bye.
Bro. So we're in downtown Miami near East Flagler Street. As you guys know, this is where the Seabolt building is located, and a few of my good dealer friends are located out here as well. So we're just gonna go enjoy a quick breakfast and then pop on over to the shop. So we were just on Flagler Street. Unfortunately, as you guys know, most of these guys, these little shops, they don't want us filming. And we even got warned by security out front of the building, like absolutely no filming anywhere in the premise. Okay, we get it. So to recap what happened, we went in there and looked at the watch. I'm gonna actually post some pictures I'm gonna arrange later. Well, they'll be in this video, so just watch out for them. So as you saw in Miami, I went to Miami to go look at a Rolex 6241 JPS, or John Player Special. If you don't know much about that watch, it's a Paul Newman but in the gold variation with the black acrylic bezel and the black and gold dial. The reason they call it the JPS is because it has the same color scheme as the John Player Special Formula One cars from the 70s. Typically a watch like this at auction sells for roughly $1 million if they're correct. You know, everything, there's no stories with them. And I've seen Tiffany & Co variants go $3-4 million. Unfortunately, the watch we saw in question did end up being fake, unfortunately. The dial, though, was honestly, from the photos that I've received for the watch, were very close. And it was enough to garnish my attention to get me out there and to fly Matt and I very quickly out there to go look at this. I did have a friend there who didn't want to be on camera, but he also thought the dial looked good, so we were very curious. And, you know, of course, curiosity killed the cat in this situation, because as soon as I got there and got my loop on it, we started tearing the watch apart. Obviously, the dial was very, very close on the pictures, but under the loop, we started discovering the issues. The bezel, we kind of already figured out that it wasn't original, but I'm not worried about a bezel on a watch having been replaced, being the watch should already be, you know, 50 plus years old. So it is very possible for it to have been replaced just out of necessity because the watch had a damaged bezel and the owner of the watch perhaps just bought a generic replacement somewhere off a jewelry store or eBay or wherever. We don't know. The first thing I'm gonna look at is a text. I'm gonna look at the way the dial's arranged. I'm gonna look at the fonts, and I'm going to look at how the fonts are applied. And in this case, the gold lettering on the dial was not raised. It was not a raised text. It was in fact pressed into the dial, which is something Rolex doesn't do. So that was my number one red flag. The second red flag we started noticing was the Swiss at the very bottom. The Swiss made on a lot of these actually have a curvature at the very top. So if you were to zoom in, you'll see that the T-Swiss T, it almost looks like the Swiss is a hill, has a hill on the very top of the hills in the very center. And this is something we look for on Paul Newman dials all the time because it's one of the variations that are commonly seen. And then the luminous material is another one we kind of noticed. It was very sloppy and applied in a not so nice way, and that was one thing we kind of distinguished. The first thing I look at the case is I'm going to look at the font on the serial number and the reference number, and I'm going to check that to see how it's engraved. I'm going to make sure the typography is correct, and this, you know, certain fonts that I'm looking for. Also, the way they're engraved also plays a key factor when you're authenticating a vintage Paul Newman. You know, in this case, scared us because if you looked between the lugs at it, it just looked too fresh, almost too new, and it was like, this is very, very well preserved on a watch. From the outside, looks kind of beat up and worn and, you know, torn up. So we're just like, well, that's not right. And then obviously when I started zooming in on the serial number and the reference numbers, I quickly could tell that it didn't have the right typography, it didn't have the right style of engraving, and I was like, okay, well, this is obviously a fake case. The hallmarks were not correct. There's several different types of hallmarks Rolex have used. There's the St. Bernard head, there's the squirrel, there's the, I forget what's that, it's like a lady. I mean, there's different on the gold, and then this one, just we couldn't even make it out. It just looked like a blurry stamp, and I was like, oh, that's obviously not correct. And then the last and final thing we noticed was the movement. The movement was indeed a Rolex movement. However, it was a 72B, which is a pre-Daytona movement. Wouldn't really fall into the Daytona Paul Newman line. It should be more of a 722-1, then which transitioned to the 72-7 and the later screw down pushers. Unfortunately, we weren't able to film inside the guy's store, and obviously he didn't want to be recorded with the watch just because we kind of knew that there was a good chance the watch could be fake, and he just didn't want to be associated with the situation because he himself did not know either, because that watch was not really well within his wheelhouse. You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the situation, and tell me if you guys learned something in the comments below, because I always want to be teaching you guys things too as I learn it too, because I learn stuff every day with watches, and I want you guys to learn with me. So back to the episode, and thank you guys for watching this segment. All right, we are headed to TPT. I've got a client with us, doesn't want to be on camera, that's okay. We're going to show him some RMs, see if we can get something done. We're looking for a very specific RM. We'll talk more about that here in a second, so follow along. what's up? What's going on, guys?
Bro.
What's happening?
Marco?
What's up, man? Just thought I'd come by, swing by, see how you guys are doing.
What's up, brother? Long time.
Yeah, good.
Are you here, bro?
We're actually here looking for a specific RM, but we figured we'd ask in person.
We don't have those anymore.
You don't? Oh, what are we doing?
How you been, bro?
Sean?
How you been?
Good to see you.
Hanging in there?
Yeah, we're hanging in there.
When did you guys get to Miami?
Yesterday. Yeah, we flew in for. Yeah, it's just a quick deal. We came in to look at a watch. It was a vintage, very expensive vintage timepiece that ended up being fake, so it was kind of fun.
Fake as in fully fake or like pieced together?
It's pieced together with like real. Franken watches. I mean, they're pieced together then sold as if. It was one of those crazy pieces where it looked really good on the picture, but so I was like, that's worth flying out to go look at because that could be, that could be a really.
And you
good
told him you're flying out to look at it, and he still had aftermarket stuff.
Yeah, but he didn't. Either he didn't know, or you don't know. You don't know if they don't know, or they're just naive. They don't know better. Based on my better judgment, I was just like, okay, yeah, I don't think you know what's going on here, but that's fine. The guy's a watchmaker, and he's sitting there saying like, oh yeah, I've showed it to people. They seem to like it, but it's like, well, the watch is still here, but why hasn't anybody bought it? But I'll take a look at it. You never know. It was like a barnyard kind of situation, like a barnyard find. I was like, well, shit, maybe this is maybe this is that one thing that slipped through the cracks, and we can just snag it. But
People get lucky from time to time with that.
Yeah,
Very lucky.
I'm sure you guys get lucky too on stuff. You never know.
Depends. I haven't gotten really lucky on like, I don't know. I can't think of anything like crazy lucky that we got. I think vintage is much different because there's such little subtleties that you can notice. Like for instance, on an RM or an AP, like if it says unique piece on the back or like it is something that's intrinsic about the watch that people have never seen before, they're gonna like look into that. Whereas vintage, it could be like you just bought a Zenith Daytona, right, a 116520, and you just bought it for 20K, and you're like, oh wow, this is an error dial with blue lume. Like those little subtleties that you're not gonna find on other brands. So it's interesting.
Do you guys ever go to like the antique watch show?
We don't. I actually wanted to, and I wanted to go to the one in here and Vegas, but we didn't have going.
So I was walking by a booth, right? And I saw a Zenith, but I saw it parked next to a bunch of crazy high-end, stupid pieces. Like they're just so expensive. I was kind of making fun of the guy. I was like, look at you with this plain black dial Zenith Daytona next to this Tiffany & Co. 2499 Patek. I was like, you got to be nuts. You got like a $2 million watch parked next to a $40,000 watch. He's like, bro, look closer. And I was like, he's like, pulls it out. It's a blue dial. It's called the Chairman Zenith. So they only made like 4 or 5 in the world. None of them have papers because Rolex handed these things out as gifts to the chairman of the boards of Rolex. And there's 5 or 6 known in the world, and this guy's sitting on one. I was like, oh shit. And it's a blue dial, blue dial gold Zenith. Doesn't exist. You'll never see something like that ever. So I was like,
what was he asking for that?
$550.
A little bit different than the $40,000 Zenith he thought it was.
It's appropriately naked.
As far as RM, what were you looking for?
All right, we got a special watch. Client wants a RM26 Panda with the, is it green? Okay, what green? Sapphire green.
Okay. Funny enough, someone inquired about this watch yesterday. Look, this is gonna be.
It's a hard find, I know.
This is like the find. This is like you're asking for a very serious piece.
I came to the right place. If anybody can find this watch, it's you guys.
Yeah, we definitely can look for it. If we're able to find it, this would be like probably a 7 to 10 day search. So I started yesterday looking for it. I have never seen one trade, to be honest with you, but yeah, 7 to 10 days is like a rough calculation.
It's a green sapphire with a panda eating, I think it's like eating bamboo or something.
Bamboo,
yeah. It's got diamonds in it. It's nuts.
Black diamonds. This guy, right?
You see? Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's a sick piece.
You know roughly, I've asked a couple people in Hong Kong that I know of, but they haven't come
I'm going to guess between 4.8 to 5.2.
That's what I told you.
That's what I'm going to guess, around that mark.
The client initially said $2 million. I was like, no, you're going to have to raise your budget.
No.
Right, yeah.
Sapphire,
Sapphire's
you
not.
used to be able to buy a Sapphire RM between for a normal Sapphire RM between 1.8 to a 2.1 range.
Yeah, all right.
Then they went up to 3.3, 2.9 to 3.3 range.
Yeah.
Now they've left Earth.
I saw a blue one at the show for $6.
A blue Sapphire.
Yeah, blue sapphire. Yeah, I mean, y'all know who has that.
Yeah. I could see it being worth that very
And
easily.
then it's funny because I saw it, and then an hour later, guess who I see looking at it?
Who?
Floyd.
No way.
Yeah, he just walks past everybody going
You
there.
saw it and he was interested?
I don't know. I was walking out as he was walking in.
The problem with that watch is that it's gonna have a hard time being sold and worn without causing some conflict.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's a sensitive piece, so if someone else that is very popular is wearing it, it's gonna cause probably some problems or some like a rift in the matrix as far as watches, because there's only one of them. It's a unique piece. Obviously, everyone knows where it came from, right? So, I don't know. I feel like that could be pretty interesting.
If he buys it, then everybody knows where it is.
Exactly.
So,
and then it's hard for the other guy to deny that it was sold, you know. But I think at this point he's probably just committed to it being sold, because I don't think anyone's selling it quietly, to be honest with you. What else is going on? How's the office coming? How's everything coming along?
You know, obviously there's challenges with the market being the way it is, and you know where we're at as a company. I mean, we're just trying to grow and expand and do what we want to do, but just trying to make sense of everything. But
I think it's a good time for you, like as far as rebuilding, like getting new staff and finding new clientele and expanding, because they're getting in at a time where it's not like you just buy something and then it goes up and then you just make money from it and everyone's like screaming, jumping up and down. Like there's actually a lot of work and dedication involved, so it's a good time.
And that's where I came from.
Yeah.
Like that's where I came from. I've been doing this for like roughly 10 years. I've been training watches for 10 years. And what I was actually used to seasons.
Yeah.
Like it used to be a seasonal gig. Like, all right, like summertime was always slow. I was just like, all right, you kind of just float by during the summer, and then winter, spring, tax season is always like crazy. Crazy high, yeah. And then now, obviously the last couple of years it was a train.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody's hopping on
full
the train.
Full speed ahead.
Yeah, full speed ahead. Everyone's buying. Now what I'm thankful for is I didn't buy up crazy inventory in January, February. Because the situation what happened in December kind of didn't allow us to buy anything. So we just missed that. But thank God, because of what happened in March and April, it just all kind of dropped. So a lot of guys fell off I'm sure you guys seen dealers that were doing great, last year. They're evaporated now. And a lot of people are trying to hold on for dear life, and there's a lot of issues going on in the industry right now because of that.
It's going to happen once every 3 years for sure, like this type of situation. I saw this in 2018. I don't know if you remember or 2019 with the 5980 craze, when they dropped from it was like 200 to 120 in like the span of a week. And I think I saw like multiple dealers get evaporated. I mean, it happens. Like everything's cyclical. That's why you have to buy watches that you like, hold, and make smart decisions.
Well, what I've told my team now, I mean, we're at it. So the strategy I'm implementing is like, listen, if somebody comes up to you and there's a profit on the table, take the deal.
Yeah.
We're not trying to hold watches because they're going to be 10% higher next month. We're not doing that. I said we're in business to buy and sell watches. So if we're buying stuff and then somebody comes along, wants to take it, and it's healthy, just let it go. God, you guys deal with that all the time.
No, it just started today.
Golly.
Yeah, you can't go broke making a profit. You got to take your wins so you don't have losses later.
Yeah.
Do you want to see some cool stuff?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, you guys always have cool ass stuff.
So we got a couple Richards.
Here's something interesting that I'm noticing. RM market ain't budging. It seems
Marketing
like,
budget?
No, I'm saying the RM market isn't budging much.
No, not at all.
It doesn't seem to be budging at
Not at
all.
all.
There's like no problems with RMs right now.
Not
It's
at
like
all.
Rolex, Patek, AP, and all these other brands. They're like Panerai. It's just like all doing this. But
Well-
it seems like you guys are holding flat. Like
We're doing very well, thank God, because we obviously have a significant portion of our capital tied up in RM.
Yeah.
What I will say is that for the past like 6 months, even longer than that, past like year to 2 years, everyone's been saying RM is going to go down, it's going to tank. Everyone's writing in our YouTube comments, you guys are done, it's going to go down, it's a bubble, it's going to burst. I've yet to see a burst. When you look at RM, like from a conceptual standpoint, 3,000, 4,000 watches a year. Past couple of years, they've been making less. The watch itself, the market for them is very strong, and the customers, they're last to sell, right?
Right.
A guy who buys a $400,000 or $500,000 watch,
Right.
the second the market drops 5%, he's not coming to sell, right? He's holding. He has a capital and bankroll, and he loves the watch enough to hold on to it. So that's what we're seeing with RM. Also, the market for RM, I think, has expanded like 10x in the past 3 years, like
Right.
for the actual consumers who are buying the watches. And also, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but they are used for money-moving vehicles, right?
Of course,
So
right. And that's a lot
with
of
everything
money
that's
to do.
going on in the world right now, people are, transitioning out of NFTs into
Right.
bigger watches, and
Right.
they have problems in Russia and Venezuela and Colombia and all these other places. So it's a good place to, put some money and enjoy your watch and protect your watch. I actually had customers that bought a lot of RMs right before crypto went down.
Right.
They're all calling me now, thanking me. They're saying, thank you so much for selling me my RM, because I paid however much for this in crypto,
Right.
and then crypto went down 50, 60, 70%,
80%,
and
right.
I haven't lost anything. They're
Right.
happy. So that's the way that I look at it.
You can move this type of money across the world. That's going to be far more valuable than people hustling $20,000 to $40,000 watches. If you're going to move money around the world, why not do it with an RM like up to the tune of millions? I mean, a sapphire for $6 million.
Yeah.
That's an example right there. That's
I mean, if you need to flee Russia or Ukraine or move somewhere else in the world, then
if you got money, I mean, I don't know. These guys are losing their yachts.
Exactly. We're trying to mix it up a little bit. We're having diversity. We have the brown ceramic. We have the kites, which have been very popular. We just got the Sebastian Olger 6702, which I know is one of your favorites. And then we had a lot of Paddocks too, but to be honest with you, we took a hit on a few of them.
That watch came up on my Facebook memory.
No way.
Yeah, yesterday, the green one.
No way.
And I had the price up there at $282.
And now they're still trading around like $295, $300 mark.
Okay, so I would have been safe in that watch.
Very safe. We actually threw this guy on the new strap. Check it out.
Oh, that is not. That is so much better.
Well, a little bit different than that elastic, right?
Yeah, no, I like the elastic though. The elastic's kind of cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
I myself like the elastic, but I think that strap looks like very aggressive on it, and I'm a huge fan of it.
What's in your collection right now?
Bro, I've been actually buying a lot of watches, so I don't want to tell anyone because I'm actually going to release my collection soon.
You're gonna sell it?
No. I'm going to show people what I have.
Oh, your personal
I did one like a year ago, but I've added a lot of watches to it. So if you want to just cut for 1 second, I mean, I'll tell you.
Damn.
Here's some big boy APs.
This is gorgeous. Right?
I love that watch.
That's your style, vintage.
This is
One of my favorite watches of all time. I remember seeing it like on Jay-Z in like 2005. I didn't even know much about AP. I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. It's like, what? That's crazy.
And this thing right here, what the heck?
Titanium green dial.
Yeah.
So if you all like that, it's like when you
It's
take it off
light.
the pillow, it's ridiculous.
That's a stunning
The
dial.
pillow's weighing it down.
It literally is.
What's the tag on this?
625.
It's cheap.
Yeah, that's really cheap. It's only 2 McLarens.
Check this out. This is a cool watch. Very interesting. 15202 IP. So it's the titanium with the platinum, center links and bezel platinum. So it has that lightweight, but it's not too light.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of like a stainless steel watch.
But when you feel this, like next to it,
There's
you're like,
yeah.
wait.
Oh, there's the lack of platinum.
Exactly. The only problem with the 15202 IP is polishing that watch is like a 2-week job. Because you have to take it apart, individually polish each center link, the bezel separately.
I got a client pushing me to buy, he wants to sell me this 15500 black. Brand new. It's in his name, he just bought it. Like, what can I pay for that thing right now?
A 15500 brand new fresh black, I think that we'd be offering around 43,000 right now, to be honest with you.
funny,
Which is low. We might ask 50 or 51 or 52, but we might only get 45.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. It's been a lot of fun catching up with you guys.
Of course, thank you for coming down. Hopefully we
We're
get
gonna-
to see you more
we're gonna do
often.
a deal off camera because I'm gonna call the client in front of you guys. So
Let's do it.
We're gonna shut this down right now.
All right, welcome back, Eric. I know you've been out for a while, so nice to have you back. A lot of you guys, Marco, back from Miami. Since our last meeting, I would say there's been a really positive buzz in this office. Like, I don't know who noticed it on Monday and Tuesday, but it felt like everyone was rocking and rolling, operations, sales, like everything was buzzing. We definitely picked up the momentum in the last couple of days. In the last 5 days, we've sold 17 watches. So that's good news. That's pretty damn good. Shout out to Vic. Vic has had the most deals in the last 5 days, as well as the highest margin rate as well.
What? Good job, bro.
Healthy margins.
What's up?
Yeah, so congrats there.
that,
Want to give a shout out to Alfred. I've given him 2 of my, I wouldn't say the best leads. They're just people that have reached out to me that want to buy watches. And I think the big thing that I want to change in terms of culture is the customer service. Like, people can buy a watch from anywhere, right? When you're buying these 20, 30, 40, 50 plus $1,000 watches, customer service can be the difference maker. I've been on text message chains with you where you're talking to them late at night and they're responding, so I really appreciate that. Overall, I would say that we're trending in the right direction. Some of the big things that are gonna take place here is, with Marco's idea, is that we need to get more exposure outside of just Instagram and our website and YouTube, right? And so what we're looking to do is adding more sales channels like Chrono24, like eBay. Whether or not they work, we'll have to find out. But we're hearing from a lot of dealers that just having your watches on those platforms just broadens your reach.
The more exposure we have, the more watches we'll sell. It's a numbers game. It's always been a numbers game. I think we just need to be really persistent on uploading to those sites. Obviously, I've gotten you guys into to the various groups. I just want you guys to think really open-minded about this and think like, hey, We have roughly, at any given time, 150 to 200 watches. That's 200 opportunities every single day you walk in this office that you can list these watches somewhere and expose them.
I want to make sure if we go down this path, for right now, Alfred's going to do Chrono 24 and likely eBay. Before we go down the path of the local ones, I want to make sure that we divide them up so we're not double posting, right? So, if someone takes Craigslist and someone takes OfferUp or someone takes Facebook Marketplace, like as long as everyone has their own avenue, I just don't want it to overlap. Outside of that, I would say that the operations team is starting to really hone in. So what's starting to happen again, when I focus on customer service, and this is nothing that you guys need to do, but now what's happening is before a watch gets shipped, Deja is calling that client saying, hey, just by the way, FYI, your watch is going out today. You're going to get it tomorrow. Here's your tracking number. Here's the address of the FedEx location that's going to get dropped off at. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that you guys need to be aware of. Nothing that you have to do. It's just nice that there's people doing it for you. The big thing that I think we need to start moving into, Marco has done it a lot recently, as well as Alfred, is servicing. Getting services in. We still have to iron out a real service provider, but in the meantime, outside of Alex can handle a lot of that, I'm sure. Maybe we even work out a deal with him or something, but I think there's a lot of clients that are reaching out asking for services.
Based on the invoices that I'm seeing from Alex, his prices are very consistent. So that means our prices can be very consistent and we can be competitive.
This has been on the board for 2 months. You've been trying to figure out a watch dealer. If we're going to go with Alex to do it.
Here's the thing. I think we should, man, just based off of my relationship and talking with him, I think we should attempt to give him as much as we can, see what he can handle, because he's told me time and time again, he can handle the load. So let's just try it.
I prefer to work with Alex because he's local here.
Yeah, I prefer to work with him too. It's not that. It's just we need fast turnaround time. And
I think Alex can provide it if we are on a consistent schedule, though.
I think so too.
Well, then why are watches coming back 3 to 4 weeks later?
Because miscommunication.
Okay,
we're giving him a watch. We're not creating a sense of urgency as to when it, a deadline.
To make this work, and I think we need to move quick on this, is I think you guys need to sit down, break down the services that are going to be offered. Then one of you guys speak to Alex to figure out how much that service will cost us. Then we determine how much we're going to charge for it. And then the last thing is you guys got to ask Alex, what's the turnaround time?
To make it easy, we write down all of that. Just give it to me. I'll take it to Alex, and he can literally just write down what our price is and what the ETA is.
We don't even need you to do that. We can just email him. He can email me back. It should be that simple.
Easy.
We just got to do it. We've been sitting 2 months here on this thing. I went to the bank today. We are finalizing the buyout. By the end of the day today or tomorrow, Anthony's buyout's going to be done. So that means signed, sealed, delivered. Like I said, I don't know what has changed this week, but if you guys were here Monday and Tuesday, I felt like there was a real buzz in the office. People were moving, people were excited, things were happening. Let's just carry that momentum.
We got a lot more watches in that we can sell, so let's make that happen.
Cool. Absolutely.
All right, let's get it. Thanks, guys.
We got some watches that came in, and we drove to Houston last night to pick these up. So I've got a 18239 Rolex President here. Very understated watch. This watch right here, looks like stainless steel if you don't really know what you're looking at. Otherwise, if you know what you're looking at, it's a white gold President, and they're very, very elegant watches. And it's actually a watch I would wear.
What's the value on that one right now?
When I was buying these, we couldn't give them away for $8,000 back in 2016, 2017 when I was just backpack trading. But now you can buy these for around $15,500. So this particular one's in, phenomenal condition. I haven't seen one this nice in a long time. And the way we like to show off is lean it that way, and you'll see the band almost has 0 flex.
So this one we have chocolate Daytona rose gold with the Arabic dial, the discontinued.
One thing to note about this watch, it's the 116515, but it's the older one that would normally be a leather strap, but the previous owner converted it on a rubber B.
It looks nice with the rubber strap on it though.
It's better. Here's a classic, 39 millimeter, 214-270. This is your Explorer 1, 39 millimeter. It's the larger one. This is the updated dial with the luminous being on all of the markers as opposed to the 369 on the older one, which did not have luminous on the 369. So this is the better one with the blue lume. I personally love this watch. It's a great daily wear.
Great starter watch.
It is.
Then we have 126300, the 41 millimeter blue dial stick with the smooth bezel. Another perfect starter watch along with this Explorer.
All right, I have both starter watches. Which one would you prefer?
Probably the Explorer because you see it less.
Yeah, fresh from polish, 18038 single quick set. Another President, yellow gold 36 millimeter, factory diamond dial. These watches are just classics, and again, they really do hang with the modern 36s because once it's on the wrist, you really can't tell, just off the bat what year they are because they really consistently made these watches look the same.
Oh, this is cool.
I'll tell you a little bit about this one. Interestingly enough, it's a factory diamond dial, factory diamond bezel.
Okay.
But the factory diamond bezel on this watch was not born on the watch. It was added later because it's actually a platinum bezel.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So it looks interesting because it gives it, gives it an interesting contrast.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's all factory.
And we also have a Spanish day wheel on it. So that's pretty cool. Those are always neat to see.
Last but not least, this one's the most interesting in the box.
Is it the most interesting?
It is an OP, but it's not just any OP. This is a co-branded OP. Yes, I said it, co-branded. It is Rolex and Domino's Pizza. Interestingly enough, it does have the Domino's Pizza logo right there, and there's the Domino's logo if you can see that.
I like the earlier ones because they had on the dial,
Right.
not the case bag.
And this one is brand new, fully stickered. It even has the barcode, both hang tags, box papers complete.
So I believe they give these to people who 10-year anniversary, I believe?
No, not at all. So the story behind these watches, and the CEO then of Domino's was giving away watches. He started with Movados or Seikos, and then if you hit a certain sales number, store hit a certain sales number, for example, $5,000, they gave you a Seiko or whatever, and then when the first store hit $20,000, he upped the ante and started giving them Rolexes. And then eventually he got Rolex to embroider the dial with the logo, and and he still continues this tradition to this day. So they actually still do that. So if the stores hit a certain sales number, they get a Rolex. These normally sell brand new, fully stickered like this for 65 to 75. This one we're going to be asking 95. So it's a cool watch. Buy it, stow it away, order Domino's, show you off to your pizza delivery guy what kind of watch you have, and you will have brownie points with your pizza delivery guy. So the 18038 right now, current retail price in the gray market is around 15 to 15.5 for a plain Jane one. Obviously they'll go up with diamonds added, and obviously this one is watch only, but there are some out there complete with diamond dials and so forth. They can go as high as in the mid-20s. And then back in the 18038 series, they actually had what they're called Stella dials, which bring big money, which is the Tiffany blue dial, the orange, the red, the yellow. They made all kinds of colors for those Stella dials, and those are just wildly expensive, and those are typically auction pieces. Watch only Explorer 1, this is something we would probably sell for around 9. Watch only, 39 millimeter with a new dial, so that's a good upgrade there.
So for the rose gold chocolate Daytona with the Arabic numeral, watch only, the current market value is around $42,000. Great watch, is probably one of my favorite strap Daytonas, whether it's on the leather or the Oyster Flex. And then the next watch we have is the Blue Dial Smooth, the 126300. Watch only, current market value is around $9,500.
You want to guess the market value of this watch?
Do I want to guess the market value of this one?
18038. Remember, it's a factory diamond dial, diamond bezel. Okay, the diamond bezel is factory, but consider it was added thereafter.
Yeah.
It's not reflected on the reference number.
Yeah, 16.5.
No, I would say roughly 19.5, because plain
19,
Jane ones are around 16 to 16.5 now. You have a diamond dial, diamond bezel to consider. So that's today's unboxing video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we're looking forward to doing more of these, so stay tuned for that.
All right, welcome back to another Ask Us Anything. And upon reviewing the comments from the last video, the overwhelming majority wants to know what's going on with this buyout. Anthony's saying we didn't pay, there's a buyout, what's going on? Let's break it down, but before I do, just note that I don't know if you guys have ever been involved in a buyout, a mergers and acquisitions. There's a lot of things written in the contract that you can't talk about for protection of both parties. So right off the bat, I can tell you that I can't talk about the buyout number or anything like that due to the legal agreement in place. But I will try my best to give you as much insight as possible in regards to the buyout. Back in March, that's when the conversation of a split began. Anthony wanted to go to LA and he wanted to build a brand the way that he wanted to build it. Dallas wanted to build their company the way that they wanted to build it. And I think you can already see the differences in business style. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why did Dallas buy out Anthony, or why was there even money involved? Why don't you just close up shop and start something new? Why can't Marco just go start a new business? Keep in mind, a lot of times during these negotiations, when you start a company, there can be things like a non-compete in place. We've been advised by advisors that it would be better to do a buyout due to tax repercussions, splitting up assets, all of these little things that come into play. So both parties mutually agreed to part ways. It was very civil, and it was just about how do you work out the terms of the buyout. Now, there was an amount of money that was agreed upon in return for various assets. These can be things like inventory. This can be things like, Instagram, YouTube, and other assets that the company has. So we came to an agreement, and the original agreement was there was an amount due on June 4th, but the agreement was made back in March. A lot happened in those 3 months. Grant Caliber discovered that there was a lot more sales tax that was unpaid and overdue that the company had to address. There was outstanding attorney fees that were overdue and needed to be addressed. There was outstanding consignment fees owed to consignees that the company had to address. On top of that, we were looking for an investor or investors, and the market environment completely changed, right? In those 3 months, you saw the watch market correct. A lot of watches were down 20, 30%. And if you look at where we are economically, a lot more investors became hesitant just because of the market and the economic environments. And so what happened was we came to Anthony and said, hey, let's revisit this. And we want to get you paid, but what you're asking for, we likely cannot do. And the reason being is when I'm in a position to be CEO of the company, I have to make sure that the business can survive and run not only 3 months, 6 months, but a year, 2 years out. We have to be very planful or mindful of the resources that we deploy in various areas, whether it's a buyout, whether it's marketing, whether it's payroll, things of that nature. And so we went to Anthony and said, hey, we want to get this buyout done, but let's revisit the numbers. Our team and his team came to a conclusion, an agreement that a new number would be the buyout number that would be owed on July 1st. The date of this filming is, I think, June 30th. And so we have until tomorrow to make payment, which we will. Actually, I think it's June 29th, right? So June 29th, so we have tomorrow and I think the following day to pay, which we have every intention to do. I went to the bank today, got everything lined up, spoke with Anthony, confirmed everything was great, got everything legally signed. Unfortunately, we had to delay that buyout payment by a month. And that wasn't, we didn't want to pay, it was we went back, spoke with Anthony, talked to him about the situation, and agreed on a new number. Now, we wish Anthony success because, whether you like Anthony or don't like Anthony, the reality is Anthony was a large part of why TPG became so successful. This was a mutual split. We just wanted to go different directions. And so hopefully this buyout number, gives him what he needs to get his business going. We don't see why both businesses can't succeed. Now, there's also been a lot of confusion about where am I? Where's Jimmy involved in all of this? The big thing that you heard on the last video that Anthony released was talking about apparel. If you guys go back to early TPG episodes, well, not early, but December TPG episodes, I was working a full-time job in the finance industry that I really enjoyed. I was very comfortable there and really didn't need to leave. What was discussed was Anthony offered me equity as well as a salary to come full-time. And the equity was in a variety of different businesses, the apparel company being one. And so I still have one business with Anthony. It is the apparel business. And I get so confused when people say, well, why are you marketing his stuff? We're not marketing anything. We are an apparel company that supplies apparel to various businesses. It could be a watch business. It can be a dental office. It can be a law firm office. We just provide the apparel. So we work with those owners or those designers. We think of a design. We create the design that they want. We get paid. We deliver the apparel, and that's that. Given my relationship with Grant Caliber and his relationship with TPG, it just made sense that they are two clients of this apparel company. But again, completely separate from everything else, right? This business is completely separate, but it has Grand Caliber and TPG as clients amongst other businesses. The next question I keep hearing is, well, weren't you gonna go to LA and then stay in Dallas, and what happened there, right? Well, let's clear the air there. What happened was I have other businesses with the ownership group here in Dallas. At the time, back in March, I had several businesses with Anthony as well. I basically came to a conclusion of I don't want to pick a side, right? Because I have other businesses with both parties. I feel very confident that I will succeed wherever I go because I have that faith in myself that I will work hard enough to succeed. And so when it came to the negotiations, I said, hey, you guys tell me where I go. I will step aside because I think I can succeed in either situation. During the buyout, I basically told them to treat me as an asset. And so both parties had a discussion and came to the conclusion of what assets each company wanted. Not to say that Anthony didn't want me, it was more because of the terms that were provided. So I ended up in Dallas and I'm very happy here. I just want to clear the air. You know, for me, being in business, what I've realized is you never want to burn a bridge, right? You never know when you're ever going to need that person. I've seen many times in the corporate career or the corporate structure of someone advancing in a different department or role or in your role, and you might need them. I never want to burn a bridge. I'm on good terms with Anthony. I'm on good terms with obviously the Dallas group, as well as everyone that I have done business with. In Anthony's situation, it wouldn't be surprising if we have a watch that he might need or he has a watch that we might need, right? This is just part of the business. So I just wanted to clear the air there. But if you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment below. We're gonna do this every week, Ask Us Anything segment. We'll pick out 2 or 3 questions. So we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks. It is 10:20 a.m. on June 30th, and I have the wire queued up to pay Anthony and his buyout with this click. It's all finalized and before the deadline. There it is. We've officially completed the buyout with Anthony.